Welcome back to WagerTalk.com. I'm Marco D'Angelo, joined in studio with Mark Borchert of Base Winner. You know him on Twitter and at WagerTalk. And Mark, we've touched upon, welcoming you to WagerTalk. We've touched upon the success you guys have had with the unders, your elite underplays. Now, what I want you to do is share with our viewers about Base Winner and how you guys delve into these numbers. And what I like, and we talked about sabermetrics is out there. Everybody's got them, and it seems like they keep finding new categories to go deeper in the sabermetrics. And sometimes, for an average person, it could just be mind-boggling.
It's very overwhelming. That's a good point. And it's honestly, for a guy who's been handicapping sabermetrically, who's evolved a process over 10 years, it's overwhelming to me sometimes. So what we attempt to do is to be very process-oriented, to develop numbers that people can understand and work with from a betting standpoint. Because that's what it's all about. It's like, okay, how am I going to handicap this game? And we try to help people with our numbers do that. But we've developed a process, and our system is very procedural, and it's very exact. And the first thing that we do, and I'll go over the steps of the process first. The first thing we do is we rate, then we organize, we crunch the data, then we evaluate the data that we've crunched, we filter it, and then we send out the final play to the end user.
Yeah, and whenever you guys, and talking about crunching the numbers, and this is something that you guys do on the podcast that you do, the Crunch Pod, where you're showing an actual Excel sheet where you've got all of the numbers there, which I don't want to belittle it, but it's almost like you make it for dummies. I mean, how all the books for dummies, you could just look at it.
And that's by intent. We want to make it as simple as possible. Now, the complexity behind the numbers is, I speak because I do it, and it's really, really involved, and it takes a lot of work.
Yeah, so, as far as like in a comparison to for horse racing, when Andy Beyer developed, the Beyer number, that, how he does it and gets to the speed rate and everything, you don't necessarily understand that. But now you have a tangible number that anybody that picks up a racing form can look at and understand.
That's a really good example of a simple number that you can use. And if you don't play the horses a lot, which I don't, but I can see that Beyer number, and I use it to evaluate, how am I going to make my bets. And so that's really a good lead into the Base Winner, the overview. I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, you can use that.
Yeah. No. I appreciate being that. He's a great handicapper, one of the best historically.
Some of the stuff that you do with the pitchers, and you put a rating to the pitcher. What are some of the things that go, not giving away the trade secrets, but some of the things that you guys put in to come up with that rating for that pitcher?
Well, we actually go into it's called the Base Winner log cutter, and that's to keep the rating updated throughout the year. So we actually go over that on podcasts. You actually see the Base Winner log cutter, and I go over it. And but the first thing that we do is we rate the player at the beginning of the year, and we create the raw data, and we adjust for talent-faced, park pitched in. A guy that hits a home run off Christian Bergman in Colorado, that should be weighted differently than a guy who hits a home run off Clayton Kershaw in Los Angeles, which is the pitcher's part. So we have a process, and I went over in the one of my videos. You can see that actually takes the raw event data and adjusts for various factors. For pitchers, we also adjust for umpire faced. So if a guy's unfortunate and he faces a bunch of umpires with tight strike zones, then he should get some credit for that. And if he pitches well with umpires with tight strike zones or over umpires, he should get extra credit for that. So we actually give him extra credit for that. And so we do that for the pitchers. We also do it for the batters. Every pitcher in the game, every batter in the game, preseason, and then we keep it up to date during the season with the Base Winner log.
For layman's terms, you're taking a number and you're applying degree of difficulty to it, so that it's not just a raw number that's an average just looking at it, because you are.
Well, exactly. We can go back to the Beyer figure for horses. If they ran on a fast track, that speed figure should be adjusted for running on a fast track. So that's exactly what we do with the park factor or talent-faced factor or umpire-faced factor.
How much time is involved in the actual gathering of the data that you're putting in to crunch it up? Because once you get the data in, it seems like it's the numbers are going to crunch, but obtaining all of that data.
It's a 2-month process preseason. I mean, it really is. I don't do it all myself. I have people that actually do the data crunching, and I do a little bit. Mike does a little bit, and it's a team effort. But it's a good 2-month process. It really is. I mean, we have to evaluate 350, 400 pitchers. Same amount of batters, and then we have to organize it right too. So the manual process, which I have down, you can have people do that, but then organizing it and fitting it into the crunch, that you can't really teach a person to do that. Yeah.
All right. Well, good stuff. And again, guys, check it out. You'll see the complexity that they have, but you'll see the simplicity of the way they display it, and it's something that you'll like. And they're putting it up for free every day, most of the cards. So again, there'll be probably 4 or 5 games on each day's card
at least
you
yeah,
don't cover, but you can get the complete base winner package. Check it out at wagertalk.com. And guys, again, weekend all access. Check it out at Wager Talk each and every week, Thursday through Monday. $69. Pick your favorite capper. Get all of their plays. You don't have to buy them individually. It saves you money. You get both baseball, basketball, whatever they have going that week. For the weekend, you'll get it for $69 exclusively at wagertalk.com. We'll be back with more with Base Winner.